Wow, it's like new intro music. Michelle. Michelle is in the car, as everybody can see, on her way to Thanksgiving. She's a little pixelated. Can you see me and hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. And she's Joe's driving her, so he could probably hear this. I don't know if he can, but they are headed to Michelle's family for Thanksgiving. So I'm still here in New York. I'm going to be leaving for Thanksgiving a little bit later today, but good to see everybody here in the chat, which is hopping already. It's 8 a.m., 8:03 actually here in New York, and it is 8:03 in Richmond, Virginia, and we'll get to why Richmond, Virginia is relevant in a moment. But in the meantime, there's some breaking news overnight that is so absurd, you guys, that I think if somebody were to write this as a book or a script or something, it would just be rejected for being completely impossible.
As you're saying that, Julie, I just want to say, do you remember like everyone used to watch Grey's Anatomy and then everyone stopped watching Grey's Anatomy because the plot lines were so insane that you're like, this is just nothing about this is believable. This is that we're living in like season 2 of Grey's Anatomy where nothing seems plausible.
It's unbelievable, but in fact, it is real life. So as we talked about yesterday at length, there's this 28-point peace plan that the Russians handed to Steve Witkoff. They literally, I think, used Google Translate to translate from Russian into English. Then they handed it to Witkoff, and Witkoff presented it as our peace plan. And Trump basically said that the Ukrainians had until Thanksgiving, which is Thursday, to approve this peace plan. That was on Friday. So a war that's been going on that's very complex for 3 years. Donald Trump is like, wait a second, I got plans for Thanksgiving down at Mar-a-Lago, so I'm just going to insist that everybody take care of this war before I have to go and eat turkey on Thanksgiving. Well, obviously that got completely summarily rejected. And I think, tentatively give Marco Rubio credit because he was the one that kind of walked it back and told a bunch of senators in Halifax, as we talked about yesterday. Michelle, you weren't around, but we talked about yesterday how all these senators in Halifax who were meeting at the Halifax conference were up in arms on both sides of the aisle and saying, this is absurd. We're not going to sell out Ukraine this way.
Yeah.
A lot of pushback from our Western allies. So now Rubio and Witkoff and Jared Kushner, by the way, this peace plan was presented to Kushner and Witkoff down in Miami by a Russian. So Kushner, and after Witkoff and Kushner reviewed intelligence information, what roles do Witkoff and Kushner actually have in our government that they get to like just review intelligence information? I mean, they are both profiting incredibly off of their foreign connections.
Corruption is honestly off the charts.
Is unbelievable, and I swear on all that is holy, if the next Democratic Attorney General does not indict the shit out of these people, then I don't even want to. Like, I need a commitment here. I need a
right. And if we're not a country that's willing to enforce the laws that we have, bless you, my husband's sneezing. If we're not a country that's willing to enforce the laws that we have, like the Constitution's just a piece of paper.
And I'm not interested. I'm not interested in any candidate that's going to say, well, I'm going to stay. Nope. I need guarantees here. Okay, something's been broken. You can't go back to the way things were. I need guarantees. Anyway, so now Trump has a new person that he sent to negotiate with the Russians. I guess Witkoff is on the outs, and it's insane. It is Dan Driscoll, who has now recently been appointed. He's a vet. That's the only experience he has. He has been appointed Secretary of the Army because he went to law school with J.D. Vance and they're buddies. So now he's the Secretary of the Army, despite the fact that he's got no experience other than I think he served in the Army at some point. He now is going to negotiate with the Russians. So some guy who's never had any background in negotiating with anybody
is going to go negotiate with the
Russians. He's going to go negotiate with Vladimir Putin.
Oh my God.
This is such a joke. And I don't understand, again, why nobody's beating the drum on this. I'm going over to MS now in a couple of hours. Now. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something completely unrelated. Whereas to me, this is like the only scandal that should be running back to back. It's crazy. You guys, it's crazy. that this is happening.
I feel like future generations in history will look back on this and be like, what?
They
were
won't
they
believe
thinking?
it. They won't believe it because I can't even. I'm living in this timeline and I can't believe it. I mean, insane. Some guy who went to law school with J.D. Vance is now going and negotiating with the Russians. Like, does he know anything about the Russians? Does he know?
I doubt it. I doubt it. And you have to wonder if it's a combination of, ooh, and I'm going through a little thing right here. Hopefully you don't lose me. If it's on purpose that it's so incompetent, do you know what I'm saying? Like if it's purposeful, or if they're just so confident in what they're doing that they're like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I can't decide which one it is, or if it's both.
You've got two. Oh God, I'm doing this. I feel like I'm doing 6, 7. You've got two. You've got two sides here. 6, 7. You've got two sides here, right? One is Marco Rubio, who I think legitimately is trying to tamp down this nuttiness because he used to be a Russia hawk when he was in the Senate.
Yeah.
I think he understands what's at stake, right? On the other hand, you have this very good friend, because they are tight. They served in the Senate together and they're friends. J.D. Vance, who, as you recall, for years has towed the Russian line when it comes to Ukraine. And so now you've got J.D. Vance's guy going to negotiate with the Kremlin. You've got Rubio negotiating with the Ukrainians, and you've got Vance's guy negotiating with the Russians, which effectively says, like, one side is going to be on one side and the other side is going to be on the other side. And what are you negotiating? The Russians aren't going to sit. Like, it's not happening. So apparently there's now a 19-point plan, not a 28-point plan that gets rid of Russian. It doesn't give Russia, the Donbass. It doesn't prevent Ukraine from joining NATO. Like, okay, Putin's going to be like, oh, okay.
Oh, good, cool.
All right. Oh, okay, cool. Because Donald Trump has turkey to eat the day after tomorrow when he's got to go. Like, that's what, like, what is going on? What is going on?
It's
not to mention, Michelle, again, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner has a fund. Who knows who's investing in that fund? We know Saudi invested $1 billion or something in that fund, but or $2 billion, excuse me. Who knows how much the Russians have invested?
Mm-hmm.
Witkoff has a kid who's running World Liberty Financial, Trump's crypto fund. We don't know who's invested in that fund,
right?
How much the Russians have invested there. Like, the conflicts of interest.
Oh, it's
staggering.
And the thing is, like, it's staggering. Just like no one cares. Like, no one cares. And there's an interview with Tucker Carlson that has resurfaced. I think this was from several months ago, with Witkoff, and Tucker Carlson asks Witkoff what he thinks about Vladimir Putin. And I'm just going to play that clip really quick.
What did you think of him? I liked him. Yep. I thought he was straight up with me. Of course, by the way, I've said that. And you can imagine, by the way, I say that, I get pilloried. Oh my gosh, you're actually saying
called communication, which many people would say, I shouldn't have had because Putin is a bad guy. I don't regard Putin as a bad guy. That is a complicated situation, that war, and all the ingredients that led up to it. It's never just one person, right? So I think we're gonna figure it out.
It's never just one person. Oh, I don't regard Adolf Hitler as a bad guy.
I mean, imagine having that interview in 1941.
Yeah. Not even 1939, 1941. You're absolutely right, Michelle. 1941. I don't regard him as a bad guy. And Tucker's like, yeah, no, I went to Russia and I didn't think he was a bad guy either.
Okay. Yeah. It's there was that whole video where Tucker went to a grocery store and he's like, oh, you put the little coin in and you took the coin out. This is great. And I'm like, do they know that they're being like, how in on it are they? That's where I'm always like, that's where I get confused, like, how in on it are they? Some of them it's more obvious than others, but Witkoff, it seems pretty obvious, but Tucker, I'm like, how nefarious is he?
Tucker? Oh, Tucker. Listen, Tucker, because I know Tucker. Tucker has always been anti. I mean, he's the biggest isolationist in the world.
Right.
So, just to be clear on that.
Yeah. No, it's a good point.
And it's the whole thing is just gross.
No, it's very gross, and it's also like just really scary because it just feels like there's nobody at the wheel. You know what I mean? There's no one running the United States, and if they are, they're all going to take off in their own little spaceship to save themselves, and they're all going to leave us here. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like there's something about this that just feels like there is no one at the wheel, and they're abandoning the rest of the country. And to God knows what happens.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is just incredible to me. And look, as you said, if future generations were to see this, they would be completely flabbergasted, confused, disbelieving, probably. Like there's gonna be Donald Trump truthers in the future who are going to be like, this never happened, right? The way like people don't really believe the Holocaust happened. This never happened. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That never happened.
The hoax.
The hoax of the Trump years. Guy never did any of this stuff.
There's two words that Donald Trump doesn't know the meaning of, and one of them is asylum, one is hoax, because he uses them kind of interchangeably, and I'm like, you don't know what these words mean.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on, Michelle, because the other crazy thing that happened, which is amazing, is that Pete Hegseth, who last time I saw him was hanging out at a bar with a wide array of beer bottles arrayed in front of him, true story, has now decided to recall Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, to active duty so that he could court-martial him for exercising his First Amendment rights, to say that if you are in the military or working for the government in an intelligence capacity, you should not obey orders that are illegal because they are unconstitutional. They're literally trying to drag him back into active duty to do that. And do we have a clip about what Mark Kelly said about that?
When he was on Mad Hour last night? Yes, let's play that.
First, just get your response to this threat from the Defense Department saying that they are investigating you, may potentially recall you to active duty to face a court-martial.
Well, Rachel, I said something that was pretty simple and non-controversial, and that was that members of the military should follow the law. And in response to that, Donald Trump said I should be executed. I should be hanged. I should be prosecuted. He even went on and said something about go get them. I guess sending a mob to round me and the other folks up. So this is, I think it says a lot more about him than it says about me. He doesn't want accountability. But Rachel, I'm not going to be silenced. I'm not going to be intimidated.
I mean, look, there's a couple of things here. This is a First Amendment issue like there is no First Amendment issue before. The man is a United States senator. It doesn't matter if he's a senator. He could be us. He could be anybody. He said something. You may not agree with it. You may not like it. But to effectively use the levers of government to persecute him and then prosecute him is absurd. It's insane. And I heard from a very good friend who used to be a JAG officer for a long time and now represents on the defense side military officials who have been, who are subject to the Uniform Military Code. And he said to me, Kelly would just be much better off if he apologized. I mean, this would be much better off. And I said, but this is not about your stupid legal army stuff.
No.
I'm like, this is the First Amendment.
Well, this is the First Amendment, and it's also, again, like using, well, it's abuse of power, It's there's all kinds of military things that, I mean, my sister-in-law was texting me about this, just being like, this is being used as an example to intimidate anybody else. And that means if you're in government, if you are a veteran, if you are in the military, like, all of this is meant to scare everybody else. And to Mark Kelly's credit, first of all, let's talk about Mark Kelly here for a second. Like, combat veteran, astronaut, wife was the Gabby Giffords, congresswoman from Arizona, who was shot in the head, survived. This man has been through a lot. He has served his country. And I just want to pull this up here. This is the New York Times headline here. Pentagon opens inquiry into Senator Mark Kelly over what Hegseth calls seditious video. And so Mark Kelly had a response. And I'll just read some of this here. It says, when I was 22 years old, I commissioned as an ensign in the United States Navy and swore an oath to the Constitution. I upheld that oath through flight school, multiple deployments on the USS Midway, 39 combat missions in Operation Desert Storm, test pilot school, 4 space shuttle missions at NASA, and every day since I retired, which I did after my wife Gabby was shot in the head while serving her constituents. In combat, I had a missile blow up next to my jet and flew through anti-aircraft fire to drop bombs on enemy targets. At NASA, I launched on a rocket, commanded the space shuttle, and was part of the recovery mission that brought home the bodies of my astronaut classmates who died on Columbia. I did all of this in service to this country that I love and has given so much to me. Secretary Hegseth's tweet is the first I heard of this. I also saw the president's post saying I should be arrested, hanged, and put to death. If this is meant to intimidate me and other members of Congress for doing our jobs and holding this administration accountable, it won't work. I've given too much to this country to be silenced by bullies who care more about their own power than protecting the Constitution. Yeah.
Let me just say this, something that Kelly touched on but didn't really expand on for obvious reasons. His wife, Gabby Giffords, was shot and almost killed. It's actually a miracle that she survived.
Yeah, miracle.
A miracle that she survived. Not so long ago, about a decade ago, maybe a little more, not so long ago. And this was because of political violence. This wasn't a random shooting. Somebody showed up to one of her
like a grocery store,
and killed one of her staffers and almost killed her. And now, so this family, the Giffords Kelly family, knows a little something about political violence.
Yeah.
And about people who incite political violence. You have the President of the United States putting a target on Mark Kelly's head. And on Gabby Giffords' head again.
Yep.
Because they obviously, live together.
Yeah.
And to do that to a family that has been through so much. You shouldn't do that to anybody for obvious reasons, but specifically to this family. Just understand how completely out of control he is. He's out of control.
Well,
somebody, if I were Mark Kelly, they all have requested and I assume gotten additional security because the president has put a bounty on their head.
And this is where I'm like, Donald Trump, well, someone may have shot at you and it grazed your ear, maybe. Gabby Giffords had a bullet put in her head, literally a bullet put in her head. To your point, it was a miracle that she survived. And again, we read the tweet, all the things that he's been through. And it's again, you look at somebody as pathetic as Pete Hegseth. I think that's the other part of this. Is like, yes, they're using this to intimidate and, abuse of power, all these things, right? But then you look at who is at the helm, is the most pathetic people to ever serve in an administration, maybe ever, is Donald Trump a 4-time draft dodger, and Pete Hegseth, a serial philanderer and sexual assaulter, allegedly, and alcoholic, an unserious person, going after somebody like Mark Kelly. I'm like, are you serious? It's comical. It's comical if it weren't so just completely disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm seeing this here. Mark Kelly is one of the most amazing persons who's accomplished so much, yet is so very humble and kind. He is a humble and kind person. He's a twin. His brother also served in the military. I mean, it's just
Originally from the state of New Jersey, North Jersey, I might add.
Oh, he is? I didn't know that. That's where I am right now.
Yes.
State of New Jersey.
Oh, do you feel so much
around? I'm in your kingdom, Julie.
Do you feel so much better, Michelle? Has the weight
I
lifted off
do.
your
I'm
shoulders?
seeing a 3-lane highway and some strip malls. I feel it's very New Jersey up in here. But you know what was kind of cathartic was Ruben Gallego. So Ruben Gallego is the other senator from Arizona, also a veteran. If you remember, I every time I think of Ruben Gallego, I think of his reaction to January 6th when he was inside the chamber and he went right into combat mode and was helping people, and that's kind of who he is. So his initial reaction, he filmed himself also in a car. I'm going to play this. Oops.
Fucking insane this is. Hey, this is Ruben Gallego. I'm traveling through Arizona right now, and I just received the news that Department of Defense is starting investigation against my seatmate, Mark Kelly. This is fucking insane. We should all point out how fucking insane this is. And, these guys are trying to say that they're not acting like fascists. They're not trying to give as much power to this president as a king, and they should stop acting like it. Mark Kelly's a patriot. There's no reason why they're going after him. He was doing his duty and just reminding people about their rights as service members. And, Secretary Hegseth, all these guys, fuck you guys. You're not going to be able to scare us. We have a right to defend the Constitution of the United States. We have a right to tell other service members that they have a right to ignore illegal orders, and you're not going to be able to intimidate us.
I mean, and then he was on CNN. Let me just play this since I'm here.
To be intimidated. This is just an act by a very desperate, cowardly man who's trying to distract from everything that's going wrong in his life, and he's trying to attack a patriot that has served his country honorably and still does.
What would you say directly to Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, of course renamed the Secretary of War, about this issue?
Well, I think number one, you will never, ever, ever even be half the man that Senator Kelly is. You, sir, are a coward. And the fact that you are following this order from the president shows how big of a coward you are. And I can't wait till you no longer are the Secretary of Defense.
There you go.
Cathartic. Honestly.
There you go.
It's I wanted to also so he I feel ridiculous even saying Department of War. The Department of Defense put out the tweet, because they do everything by tweet, and Ruben Gallego quote tweeted "F you and your investigation," and then Donald Trump, of course, all caps, "The traitors that told the military to disobey my orders should be in jail right now, not roaming the fake news networks trying to explain that what they said was okay. It wasn't and never will be. It was sedition at the highest level, and sedition is a major crime. There can be no other interpretation of what they said." Okay. And Ruben Gallego obviously saying Epstein, 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 and I think he's correct.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, because my husband, who is a lawyer, asked a very interesting question. He said, what does it mean to obey the Constitution in this case? Because the president is the commander-in-chief, and you have to obey the orders of the commander-in-chief. So shouldn't you constitutionally be obeying the orders of the commander-in-chief, since he's the one that gave them to you? And I was like, it's a good question. And then he said, well, the answer is due process. The answer is that we are blowing up boats off the coast of Venezuela without due process.
Right.
And we're not in a state of war with these people. There's no casus belli. We're not in a place where there's been any evidence produced that these people are posing a danger to us, these sailors and these fishing boats.
Yeah.
Even if they are transporting drugs, we have no evidence they're transporting drugs to us. And the last time I checked, drug dealers don't just get blown up.
No, yeah.
It's not like they're aiming a nuclear missile at us. It's gonna blow up.
Right. Right.
And that's what we're dealing with. I mean, we're dealing with a president who can say that, Michelle Kinney poses a threat to the United States. So, she's driving somewhere in the beautiful Garden State right now, being very negative on New Jersey. And for that negativity, she should no longer exist. And, I mean, not an irrational thought.
But
nevertheless,
before I met you and Tara and JoJo, I have to really watch myself now. My New Jersey shit talk.
We're going to take Michelle on a road trip, and we're going to take you all along with us. We're going to get into my car, which I was cursing yesterday again, because I get into my car and I see that it is down to no, it's a electric vehicle. It's down to nothing. And I was like, didn't I just charge this thing up? So I'm rushing to a meeting. I have to stop and find some charger somewhere. And of course, the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, who's a big environmentalist, does not have any chargers at the New Jersey Turnpike. Why? Who knows? So I had to get off somewhere in scenic central New Jersey to find a charger. Luckily, I got to drive around the place that is Nirvana.
See, this is like, I mean, trying to, not to get on a tangent of that, but it's just like people want to do the right thing. They want to get a car that's better for the planet and is, gets better mileage, blah, 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 blah. Then it's like makes it so much harder to even use it. Like, what's the point? You're discouraging people. Was that? I am 9 3/4.
No, she's not. No, Kevin, she's not in Central Jersey. She's not in Central Jersey. She's in North Jersey. If you were in Central Jersey, you'd be absolutely right. Anyway, so look, this whole thing is gross, and I just can't envision how these people sleep at night, other than they think they'll be in power forever.
Yeah. Well, right. I mean, that's the other side of this. That's like, well, listen, there's a few things here. I think that a lot of people are acting like, well, there's only 3 years left. Let's just get through this. And I think there's a lot of people who just think that we're still living in that time. They're not thinking at all, because the people like, unfortunately, Marjorie Taylor Greene, in my opinion, Tucker Carlson and others are looking past Trump. They're looking past, and this is if Trump survives the next 3 years. I don't think he's leaving. I know you don't think he's leaving. They'll do everything they can to make sure he doesn't leave. And what if something happens to him before the 3 years are up and it's JD Vance, right? Because JD Vance, well, I don't think flattery will get him anywhere like Donald Trump in like a Donald Trump flavor. That guy is the most malleable, easily influenced by money. JD Vance is really, really scary.
He's in some ways he's worse than Trump.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he's Trump. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
So we got other stuff going on, Michelle. It's a crazy day
So
today.
So I hear.
What else is going on in the world?
Well, let's see. I heard on my phone through breaking news that a federal judge has dismissed the indictments against Tish James. And James Comey. Who could have imagined that appointing a lawyer who had never been inside a courtroom to hand down federal indictments to very serious people? Who could have predicted this, Julie? Not I.
Well, he dismissed. Actually, to defend Lindsay Halligan, said pageant winner and lawyer in question. He didn't dismiss it because of her being incompetent, although I'm sure that would have been the next thing if this didn't work. He dismissed it for the same reason that Alina Habba was dismissed in New Jersey, although the judge in New Jersey stayed that one. And that is because she was appointed illegally because Trump had already appointed a U.S. attorney, an interim U.S. attorney,
Right.
got rid of him because he would not indict Letitia James and James Comey and replaced him with her. And the point is that that circumvented the prescription for, well, it's basically circumvented senatorial courtesy approval. Like you have to have advice and consent of the Senate for these appointments. And this was a way to avoid advice and consent. And so that's why they threw her out. Same reason they threw out Alina Habba, which my husband actually argued that case, which I'm very proud of him for.
Amazing. It's just amazing.
Actually, I don't want to brag, but I'm going to say this. This whole situation was based on what my husband did with Alina Habba.
Amazing.
It's crazy. It's like
when you went to go get sushi that day and we stayed back and had scotch and we were talking about it and he was explaining the whole thing to me and I was like, this is badass.
Crazy. I know he's a badass. So
yeah.
Yes, my husband and Abby Lowell actually, who also represented he represented Tish James in this case too, but yeah, my husband Abby Lowell got it done in New Jersey first. Look, it's crazy because again, you have a Justice Department, much like the Pentagon is trying to do with the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the Justice Department is trying to do with civilian law, which is indict people who did nothing wrong. And the interesting thing is with Comey, the statute of limitations is up. So if the Supreme Court does not overturn this decision, and it's going to be hard to do because I believe they're 0-11 on these issues, the Trump administration, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Oh, thank you. I will pass that along. My husband, who ignominiously took our dog to the office today because we're going to go out to the country after this, so somebody had to take the dog, is not feeling very heroic today. He's like literally taking the dog to his law firm, who's going to be going crazy all day.
Take your, poor Hagrid. Hagrid gets very excited.
Hagrid gets very excited whenever he goes to my husband's office. So it's very sweet. So anyway, so this is like a completely crazy situation where, again, these people are just incompetent. They're incompetent. And they get pushed back. They do something and then they get pushed back and then they just take up valuable time. I mean, why couldn't you just appoint a United States attorney who was competent?
Right. And it's, this is, again, just another example of the reality TV show brand of Trumpism and MAGA. Everything's happening on TV. Everyone it's casting, right? It's casting. It's not hiring, appointing, it's not doing anything.
You're froze, Michelle.
It's about who. Am I still?
No, now you're better.
Okay. It's all about who looks good in the part. I mean, that's why he appointed Pete Hegseth. Yes, he was on. He sees him on Fox News. Oh, he's a military guy. He'd be great. It's all about what's happening on
he looks
TV.
the part, right? He's a good-looking guy. He looks the part. For everybody who's guessing which highway Michelle is on, do you know that in the chat there's a whole chat guess of which highway you're on? I know which highway you're on because I know New Jersey so well. I know. Can I say it? Can I tell?
Yeah, go.
Are you on Route 80 West?
Yes. I just looked at the little screen. Is that correct? Yeah.
I know Jersey.
Yes, we're on 80 West.
80 West, about to go over to the Delaware Water Gap.
Yeah, the Delaware Water Gap. I see it at Morristown and Mawa. I see an exit 43A in front of me.
Yes, Mawa. But yes, I would say Delaware Water Gap, by the way, for anybody who's ever been in New Jersey / Pennsylvania, is beautiful.
Is it?
Oh, you've
I
never
only
done
know it as a sign.
Oh, well, once you go over but once you go through the Delaware Water Gap, you've got the mountains on the right, you've got
Oh,
the
that's
water.
true. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's the water gap. It's beautiful.
The
Right before you get
Delaware Water Gap. Anyways.
right before you get into Pennsylvania. We'll see if you get there before the show's over. Probably not.
No, Joe's saying no. We got a little bit of a late start this morning because our cat. Well, I think I've talked about this, but like my cat has inflammatory bowel disease. If anybody's cat has this, please tell me if you have any tips and tricks about handling this. It's no bueno. But so he had a little accident as we were getting into the car, and then we had to and this isn't our car. We rent cars, so we're like with the resolve and So anyways, yeah. So we got a little bit of a late start, but yeah, this is where we are. But the Lindsay Halligan thing, though, again, is just, I think that Donald Trump sees her. Donald Trump sees her as, oh, she looks like a lawyer from Law and Order. Do you know what I'm saying? Like she looks like one of those district attorneys on that crime show I watch. But again,
she's also very pretty. And he likes having people like that
very
around.
Pretty. Good for her.
Yeah.
Alina Habba, also very attractive, but again, who cares? You know what I mean? If I showed up to court and Alina Habba was my lawyer, I would right then and there have to accept that I was going to jail. Do you know what I mean? This is not a person who would be able to, successfully represent me and my.
And they the reason Alina Habba wanted to be U.S. attorney, in addition to indicting all of Trump's enemies, is she was setting herself up to run for Senate against Cory Booker. And it just underscores how completely crazy they are, that they think that she could be Cory Booker in New Jersey. I mean, New Jersey has not elected a Republican senator in my lifetime. I think the last time was 1972.
Yeah. I mean, that and also
not happening, my friends.
That and also okay. I mean, senators is supposed to be the grown-ups, right? That's supposed to be the grown-up place where the grown-ups get elected. Now, mind you, a lot of grown-ups don't. If you look at Tommy Tuberville as a senator, which honestly anyone can be a senator at this point, but especially in a place like New Jersey, where I think the voters take something like that seriously, they're not going to elect somebody like Alina Habba. Even if Alina Habba was a Democrat, they would never elect someone like that because that's just not the caliber of person that they're going to elect.
Yeah,
they're going to elect people like Cory Booker. I
mean, we had Bob Menendez as a senator, Michelle. We can't get more serious. Actually, Bob Menendez was a very good senator until he went astray.
Well, there you go. Yeah. He just happened to be also corrupt.
He went a bit astray, but he actually was a pretty good senator until that happened. In terms of his voting record and his priorities, from my perspective. And he's got a wonderful daughter in Alicia Menendez, who's on MS now.
MS now, not later.
Not later. I'm always
every time I see it, by the way, coming up on my because whenever I open YouTube up on my phone, or not my phone, sorry, my TV, and I go to all the subscriptions, all the thing, and I used to be MSNBC, and now it's MS Now with that weird little flag, and I'm like, I don't know how many people it took in if it was marketing, or if it was who it was, or people in a boardroom sitting around going, you know what, this is the solution. We're not going to worry about MSNBC anymore. We're going to go MS Now, and we're going to use this weird little flag. It's so bad. They should have just changed the whole name of it, honestly, and done a full rebrand. That's just my opinion, but because this is weird.
I don't really understand what's happening there, but
I mean, to each their own. Whatever.
I just ask. They show up. I show up. I don't ask.
Yeah.
Jen Pollock. You may be right. I don't know about that, but I actually know her a little bit. You may be right. I've often wondered what's going on there. She has now become Bob Menendez's wife. She's now re-registered to being a Republican, which means that she's probably angling for a pardon from Trump, I guess. She's also quite sick, I understand. She's got breast cancer.
Wow.
She's quite sick. Ooh, I've had it, ladies with Joy Reid slam Scott Jennings this morning. We should go back and watch that
Ooh.
because we do that on this show all the time. That's like our favorite hobby, to slam Scott Jennings.
Yeah.
Well, while you were out yesterday, we had a little confab here on the show in the chat, and we decided we are going to do a Thanksgiving show on Thursday because we concluded.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that people want to have something to do, and some people don't have anywhere to go, and we are like a family here, so we're going to do it. And then on Friday,
I'm all about it.
on Friday we're going to do the show, and then also good news, which we can announce here, I guess. Jeff Jarvis, for those of you who've been watching our the last 2 Fridays, we've had Jeff Jarvis come on at 11 a.m. and he's agreed to do that every week, and to have like a regular gig here where we have a show with him every week at 11 on Fridays. I love talking to him. He's so smart.
Yeah, he's so smart. I always feel like I'm like, oh, I feel like a smart person now because I talked to Jeff Jarvis for an hour. You know what I mean?
He's really good. So
yeah,
I
learned so much.
Yeah, completely. Just somebody that we 100% want to keep talking to. People here seem to really respond to him, and he's been amazing about giving us his time. So he's going to do that every Friday at 11. And if you're not around on Friday at 11, you could always catch it on replay on YouTube.
That is true.
Wherever you listen to your podcasts. Jarvis is a national treasure. I agree. Love the Jeff episodes. No Nea Dam. Thank you. That's great. I don't know about friends in high places, but we hang out in some pretty places. Like MS.
I don't know about that. MS now.
I actually met Jeff Jarvis. Actually, it's true. I met Jeff Jarvis in the CNN green room.
Oh, on the Abby Phillips show?
Abby Phillips show. Yeah. And we sort of bonded there on that show. And he's been wonderful. I mean, it's so nice. It's the one advantage. Well, there's several advantages, but a big advantage of doing these shows is you get to meet some really awesome people.
Yeah.
Who feel about the world the way you do, and then they get to, come on your show and build a show here yourself. So we're building Mayday. We're gonna roll it out early next year.
Yep.
But we're building a bunch of different. And then Michelle, do you want to talk about potentially the sports show that we might have?
Oh yeah. So one of my very, very good friends, who's knows probably, similar to my husband, the amount of sports knowledge. We're working on a sports show with him. He's one of my best friends, and he is fabulous, and works in advertising, and is just like so funny, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. And then obviously we're still trying to work on developing this Americans rewatch thing, which we have to figure out when we're going to start that. But that I'm very, very excited about. And I'm actually like trying to finish reading that book, The Illegals, right now, which is basically, for anybody who doesn't know that book, definitely, if you can, go pick it up. It's about the illegals program that, with the Soviet Union is trying to infiltrate, and Russia is still infiltrating the United States and Western democracy with their people. And it's a whole program that they have, and it's what the Americans is based on. And it really reads like a spy thriller, this book, but it's nonfiction. It's absolutely crazy. You kind of can't believe what you're reading. We're going to work on that. And there's maybe talks about maybe somebody coming on to talk about backgammon sometime. So we'll see. We'll see. But
the sports show we're really committed to doing. Hopefully that gets off the ground, because we all need a break.
Yep.
And we all are all into sports, and it kind of bridges all divides.
Yep.
And the reality is that I know nothing about sports compared to like what real people know about sports.
Yeah.
Eavesdrop on the men in my family talking about it. I always said if my son were 10 years older, I'd give him a sports show because he's like a bookie.
I know. If only he was a little bit older, he could come on and be our stat guy.
He could be our stat guy. He's like the Steve Kornacki of sports. Actually, Steve Kornacki is the Steve Kornacki of sports because that's really his passion.
Yeah. He's like the little Tony Reale. He's like, stat boy.
So we're gonna have Michelle's friend come and hopefully do that show soon, and then we're doing the Americans. So I watched the first few seasons of The Americans. I never finished it, so no spoilers.
Oh,
Nobody was-
so good.
Yeah, no
So
spoilers.
good.
Watching it for the first time.
And
Most
by
of
the
it-
way, so
Yeah.
you know, we love Matthew Reese in this house.
Yes.
I'm watching his new show on Netflix right now.
Is
It
it
is terrifying.
oh, I don't
Terrifying.
want to watch.
It's called The Beast in Me, and it's like loosely based on Robert Durst.
Oh, yeah.
It's so scary, so scary. But I was, you know, because I'm like, oh, Matthew Reese, I'll watch anything Matthew Reese does, and I'm like 4 episodes in, and I was like having nightmares. It's
No,
really awful.
no reason.
Claire Danes is really good in it too. Her bottom lip is quivering. Per
Well,
usual.
that's yeah, per usual, exactly.
Per usual. But
Claire Danes and Carrie Russell, I feel like, have the same genre of work.
yeah.
Americans in Homeland,
Mm-hmm.
Diplomat in this.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So Claire Danes better keep her hands off Matthew Reese is all I'm going to say.
Wait, sorry, what'd you say?
Claire Danes better keep her hands off Matthew Reese.
Oh, I know. I don't think there's anything that's gonna pry them. The Carrie Russell, Matthew Reese thing. Yeah, they seem
Yeah, they seem
pretty
good.
My husband's over here shaking his head. I'm like, I've read Claire. Yeah, he's like, Claire Danes. No way.
No.
Carrie Russell. Yeah.
So, but look, we're gonna watch The Americans. We're going to talk about The Americans. I have to say, again, I came here. The Americans started in 1980 or 1981.
1981. It was like right after the inauguration of Ronald Reagan. Yep.
Right. So I came here to the United States 6 months earlier. I came here in May of 1980. Also from Russia.
Mhm.
Definitely not as part of the illegals program, or so you think. And so I kind of know. I mean, I remember those days. Were you born then, Michelle?
Sorry, what?
Were you born?
I was born in 82.
You were born in 82,
82.
yes. Okay. So it's even before you were born. But I remember those days so well because I guess there was so obviously this big event in my life. So I actually remember 1981, 1980, that whole era, and being Russian and all of the stuff that was going on so well. My dad, my father sat me down and I don't know if I ever told the story, in 1980 or 1981, we were in this little pocket park in the Bronx. We had just come here. And he sat me down. He goes, there are there are missiles that are pointed right here at us. And if they explode, we all die. And if we don't all die, we're going to die from cancer.
Great. Thanks, Dad.
And I was like, I don't believe you about the cancer stuff. He's like, oh, no, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, that is true.
Literally, I was 6, 7. I was either 6 or 7.
What year was Chernobyl? When was Chernobyl?
Chernobyl, I want to say it was 1986.
Okay.
Much later.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yes, you're right. My dad was not wrong, but I'm not so sure you should be saying that.
Yeah, I mean,
of nightmares. So my father also read me the book about the capture of Adolf Eichmann when I was 7, and which went into deep into the Holocaust. My father has zero patience for childhood. He's like, you need to know stuff. You need to know it now.
Listen, a lot of children and grandchildren of people who have been through things, right? Like this is, I told you, my friend Anna, whose grandparents survived the Holocaust, her whole upbringing has been like this, and as many children who are descendants of survivors or war-torn areas or anything like that. And, that it informs how you live your life and trying to look forward and survive things. And I mean, that hypervigilance from Julie's dad.
Oh no, it wasn't even hypervigilance. It was you must know about this. And also I'm going to describe to you exactly how, the atoms impart so that the weapon goes, I mean, it was a whole science class / biology class about the effects of nuclear fallout on the immune system. So you get cancer. Plus, that was pretty much it. It was basically a science class, but not necessary. That was
terrifying.
That was going on right when The Americans was launching.
Right.
And So yeah, I can't wait to watch the show with you guys because I know you're a massive fan of the Americans. I know your
Yeah,
husband
yeah,
is a fan of the Americans. And hopefully everybody here can do it as well. Heidi, you're right. European dads in general, yeah, they have there's no. It's so funny because when my son was little, and I used to read him these or show him these Disney movies or read these stories that were based on the Grimm, like the Grimm fairy tales.
Yeah, yeah.
Laughing because I was like, if you read Russian fairy tales or even the original Grimm fairy tales, there's a good chance the protagonist dies in some horrible, like slow, painful death. Like there's no prince coming to save you. I mean, what Disney did,
that was so much worse than the Disney, the Disney versions of everything, where everyone has a dead mother in the beginning.
Well, no,
like,
they all have a dead mother too. They all have a dead
Okay.
mother too. Yeah, it's just that at the end, Hansel and Gretel, like in the original Hansel and Gretel,
Yeah.
they eat the witch. It's literally cannibalism. In the original Little Mermaid,
Oh yeah, doesn't she turn into like sea foam or something? And
yeah, the prince ditches her for some like hottie, some Lindsay
Yeah.
Halleck, and
Yeah.
she like turns into sea foam and dies basically. Like there's no happy, and the Russian fairy tales are really bad. Like they're just like they're basically all about the very Russian mentality of like you suffer and then you die. Like life is about suffering and then that's it.
Well, that is kind of the Russian brand.
It is the Russian brand.
Even now, it's like, how many people have died in our war? We don't care.
I know. So it's kind of funny to when you were raised that way yourself, which may not surprise you. So my father decided to inform me about the Holocaust and the Civil War when I was like 6 or 7, but not the Civil War, nuclear war. Sorry, but I also think it's kind of funny because when my son was about 6 or 7, we watch Frozen, all these little things, which by the way was also based on I believe Frozen was based on a Hans Christian Andersen story. I think it was called The Snow Queen.
Okay, that tracks. Yeah.
Which also was really scary. Like when I was little and my parents would read me The Snow Queen, I actually would get really scared. So, it's very fascinating to me that this is all happening.
Yeah. So when you came to the United States, were you kind of, I mean, obviously your father was giving you a separate experience, but were you surprised at the culture here being a lot more positive, or?
I was kind of raised, I was a latchkey kid in New York in the 80s, as all kids were. I mean, like there was no babysitting, there was no nothing. Like your parents, like all summer long, your parents,
kids.
Yeah, like your parents were like, don't open the door for anybody and try not to set the house on fire, and like we'll be back, when we're done with work. So I was pretty much babysat by the TV, and I was obsessed with Little House on the Prairie. Obsessed with Little House on the Prairie. And that was my go-to. And I had a whole thing where I'd watch like Family Feud, and then I'd wait for the Little House on the Prairie reruns, and I'd wait for the Charlie's Angels reruns, which were up against each other. I think Charlie's Angels was on Channel 5 at 5, and Little House was on Channel 11 at 5, and that was a big conflict. Yeah, big choices. So I wasn't so much surprised because I was a little old. Like I never got Disney because I was Disney. I never watched Sesame Street. Like that's really foreign to me. I know. Wow. Well, I was too old.
Yeah,
I never watched.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So, I know.
Like the Muppets and Sesame Street was such a formative part of my,
Yeah, but I learned. I think I've said this before. I learned English watching Dallas. That's how I learned English. And because the summer that we came here, they were in reruns. And so my mom and I were like, okay, I don't know what the show's about, but let's watch it. And it was like the season that like JR got shot. So we were totally into it. We had to learn English to understand what was happening. So I was like the only kid in school was like the goddamn oil barons ball, and we have to buy more barrels. The cartel is screwing us in the oil. So and Sue Ellen's drinking too much, and she's having an affair with a pool guy.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So I legitimately, damn Cliff Barnes. I legitimately, I had like zero childhood. I know this sounds really bad, but like between my dad telling me about nuclear war and the Holocaust, and then watching Dallas, and like everybody sleeping around in Dallas, and like debating with the cartel over like how much oil they're going to release into the market, and Little House, which I guess was kind of good for kids, but that also had very mature themes. Yeah, and then Charlie's Angels, where nobody wore a bra and ran around, jiggling. Yeah, Jill Puckett, you recently went on you watched all the old Dallas episodes. I actually would love to do that. I wish I had time to do that. Dallas and Dynasty. Dynasty was really good, also. But Dallas was the best. Did you ever watch Dallas, Michelle, or is that before your time?
I did watch Dallas. Well, I was talking to Jeff and you about this on Friday. That TV of the 80s and 90s class that I took in college, we had to watch Dallas. There was that St. Elsewhere. I'm trying to think of the other one. Chicago Hope, that was on there too. There seriously, it was all the cop and like the medical shows, and then the ER was too late. And what's the other one? The murder of the girl. Why am I blanking?
Oh, Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks. Yes, there was like 2 weeks on Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks. You either liked Twin Peaks or you didn't like Twin Peaks. I did not like Twin Peaks, but my best friend was so into it, like you couldn't even.
I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I still have that textbook. It was one of my favorite classes.
And then here somebody said they watched Beverly Hills 90210. Oh, Beverly Hills 90210 in the early days.
I really wasn't allowed to watch that.
I think you're a little too young.
It was very adult.
But
I was like 10 or 11. I think. Yeah.
You should watch it, Michelle. So it's just the first like 3 seasons. So good. So good. So nothing like high school in real life.
Of what?
So you what?
Oh, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen 90210. I watched it. It's just I got to a point that my parents were like, you shouldn't be watching this. This is very adult. All my friends watched it and stuff. So
well, as we know, I've talked about it repeatedly. I also watched Who's the Boss and really was into Who's the Boss.
I love Who's the Boss.
And then Tony Danza. Tony Danza and I had a little altercation, and he ruined it, and therefore Who's the Boss is kind of dead to me now, which is kind of sad. Because
I feel like it's so funny to me that you had this altercation, because I feel like every time I've seen Tony Danza on the Upper West Side, he is the most jolly, singing out loud to himself, walking down the street like, hey, da, 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 or singing with a band. There's like that. I think
he sings. Did I tell you the story? I didn't tell you the story. This is more coffee and conversation gossip, but I'll tell you guys today. So I go to that restaurant because it's
the
not
one where he sings outside with the little band.
Yeah, and I go to that restaurant. We go to that restaurant all the time, right? And we're there, and we're sitting in the back. There's no band. There's nothing. And then I hear a band setting up, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And as we're eating, this guy walks by. He goes, Julie? And I said, yes. And it was a guy who used to be Paula Zahn's old producer on CNN. And I used to go on her show all the time. And this guy is wonderful. He was so nice back in the day. I hadn't seen him in like 15 years. So I go, what are you doing here? He goes, oh, I sing outside this restaurant every Sunday. And I said, oh my God, we never come here on Sundays. So I introduced him to my husband, I introduced him to my son. And he goes, oh yeah. Tony Danza and I play out here every Sunday. Why don't you come get a drink with Tony and me? And I'm like, I didn't tell you this?
No, is this before or after the dog incident?
Wait, this is like a month or 2 ago. This is during the summer. This is way after the dog incident.
No, I would have remembered this. No, you did not tell me this.
So I am like, so my husband is literally looking at me and he's laughing because he's like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, how do I sneak out of this restaurant without Tony Danza noticing me? So
Right.
I was like, oh, I'd love to get a drink with you. I would, and Tony, but I have to, I gotta go. So I literally like sneak out of this restaurant.
Do you think he would have remembered you though?
Like, I don't know, but I don't want to chance it. I don't want to chance it. I know.
Like,
I
why
don't
do
want
I
to.
know you? I know you from somewhere.
I know you from somewhere. It's like you know what it is. It's the Seinfeld episode where he stole the marble rye from the old lady, and then he sees her. Like he sees us later. He sees her in Florida, and the parents need her vote to stay. Is like you stole my marble rye. You're the one that screamed at me about your dog. I mean, it ended up in page 6. It wasn't just an incident. Like it literally ended up in page 6.
He still lives in the neighborhood. I think. I feel like
I know. Yeah, he does. He lives in Lincoln City.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen him at Felice too. Restaurant Felice. It's on Columbus.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he will eat there. Felice, is that what it is? Sorry, I'm saying it wrong according to Joe. Felice.
I always say Felice too, but I think
I've always said Felice, but whatever. Yeah. Eats at the bar by himself. I've seen him there eating like spaghetti and stuff. So,
all right, Johnny.
Listen, it's all about balance, Johnny. It's all about balance.
We were just talking about how my father told me that we were going to die in a nuclear explosion / cancer, or how James Comey and Sis James are emblematic of the end of our jurisdictional democracy, or how Donald Trump is selling out Ukraine to the biggest despot killer since Adolf Hitler. We'd all be very depressed. So now we're talking about Tony Danza.
I mean, listen, we have to do something to.
We got to do something.
It's Ryan Lizza and Olivia News. I saw somebody in the chat earlier. It's like, I hope we're going to get an update on Ryan Lizza. We're not. I just checked his Substack before we came on. There hasn't been anything new.
He's so smart as hell.
Although Ryan Lizza just followed me back on Substack. I was like,
yeah.
You probably saw I subscribed.
Ryan Lizza.
I'm not proud, but I am. So, because for subscribing, I get to share it with all of you. So it's worth it.
Yeah. Speaking of Substack, Michelle, I have a treat for you today.
Yeah.
It is about a 1,200 word, maybe longer, maybe shorter, newsletter all about how Lee Stefanik is the biggest loser on earth. And it is called, if I can remember the title, The Pathetic Cautionary Tale of Lee Stefanik.
Yes. I mean,
I wrote this just for you. You could read it.
I cannot wait to read this. I know Trump. Yeah, Joe's like, Trump ruined her campaign. I'm like, oh yes. And she's trying so hard to be like, no, we're going to agree to disagree. And I'm like, nah, girl, it's over.
Yeah, I know. Julie has the best stories, crazy life experiences. I really do. I have to say, my husband always says to me, he's like, I can't believe you turned out to be sort of normal considering like everything that happened in your life.
I think if someone because I did just meet you last year. I'm like, if I met you in real life, you wouldn't know. Like, you're just very normal, very, not to say you'd be abnormal, but you know what I'm saying? Like somebody with that kind of life experience and stories.
I should be, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, all right. So I got to go. I got to get ready to do a couple of things and then get ready to go to MS now.
MS now? What time are you on MS now?
I'm on at about 1:15, 1:20.
Okay. All right.
To talk about Doug Jones running for governor in Alabama, which is fantastic. And I'm happy to hear that. But really, is that really the biggest news going on right now? I don't think so. But I don't program.
Do you think he could win? My husband seems to think he can win.
Oh, okay. I think
in this environment,
I think it'll be tough, but I hope your husband is right. And you guys, for those of you who might be traveling today, like Michelle and I will be later today, this afternoon, please stay safe. For those of you who are not traveling and hanging around at home and did not watch the show live, thank you for watching it later. For those of you who were so fantastic in the comments, we love the comments. We love the comments. Like doing this when you pre-record it without the comments is no good, which is why we always do it live.
I know, like we've tried to do like some pre-tapes of other things. I'm like, it's not the same. It's just not the same. 35%. Yeah.
Yes, Tony Danza did yell about my dog and was very awful about my dog. So much so that it ended up in page 6 about Tony Danza yelling at my dog. But Tony Danza does not know it was me or my dog, and therefore I'm a little concerned about hanging out with Tony Danza and having a drink with him and our mutual friend because I don't want him to be reminded of the fact that I'm the Marble Rye lady who chased him down a New York City block, telling him to, and I quote, "Why don't you go fuck yourself, Tony Danza?"
Also, just so people know, we did not plan this. When I
not forward the thread.
I was like, oh no.
Why did Tony Danza yell at my dog? Tony Danza yelled about my dog because Tony Danza, when I walked out of my building with my dog, thought my dog is very energetic, and he thought that Tony Danza, that my dog was going to lunge at him. My dog did not lunge at him. Tony Danza went a little nuts and was like, "Get your fucking dog under control." And I was like, if you yell at me, that's one thing. I'll be like, whatever, I'll walk away. But I'm like, you're going after my dog. And I literally was like, fuck you, Tony Danza. Go. Like, I lost it. I mean, I've never, like, like crazy ladies who yell on the street.
Yeah.
Speaking of, like, I just said I was normal. I was not normal in that scenario. I was like, go fuck yourself, Tony Danza, you fucking asshole. And I literally was like chasing him down the street with my dog, being like, fuck you, talking to my dog that way. And Tony Danza literally like ran away. Yeah. Like, he was like, oh my God, I got to get away from this crazy lady. So, and that ended up in Page 6, which became a huge.
Normal people.
Michelle, we're losing you.
You go from like 0 to 100 in New York. Like, it happened to me sometimes. Yeah. I'm like, all of a sudden I go crazy. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah. So the problem is it became a PR problem for Tony Danza because he had to like get his PR involved because it ended up in the newspapers, not with my name on it. They just said a petite woman. I was like, oh, that's a nice way to describe me. And then that was it. And I luckily have never had to encounter Tony Danza on the street again. I think he actually avoids my block now because he doesn't want to deal with running into me or my sweet dog Hagrid. But it's a very New York story. It's a very New York story. Very New York story. And the funny thing is, I was talking to a reporter at the New York Times the day after Page 6 wrote about it. And for some reason, she goes to me, she's like cracking up. She goes, I just read this crazy story about Tony Danza in the New York Post about some crazy lady chased him down the street, telling him to go fuck himself. And I was like, yeah, I read about that too.
Gee, I wonder what street that was on. I don't know. I wasn't there.
I'm like, wow, that sounds insane. Oh my God. So the funny thing, I really never talk about it publicly, but I feel like we're such a family here. I don't know why I think it's going to stay in the vault because obviously people here can talk, but I feel like, that was me. So I'm very committed to not running into Tony Danza and having a drink with him for two reasons. One is he did that to my dog, and my dog, no way, you don't do that to my dog. Anyway, and so, and the second is I just don't want to, I don't want to be the Marble Rye lady. Yes, Bathtub Mary, I am a crazy lady, but only when it comes to my dog. I mean, you can't go after my dog. If you were going after me, I'd be like, all right, Tony Danza, God bless.
It'd be like somebody going after my cat. I'd be like, no.
Yeah, it's my dog. Like, by the way, if you went after my son, I'd be like, okay, my son's old enough to stand up for himself. I'm my sweet little Hagrid. I know, my sweet little Hagrid. It's not right.
Such a good boy.
Hagrid's a good boy. He is energetic, and I understand. Look, in Tony Danza's defense, 3 seconds later, and he would have been jumping all over Tony Danza, but he wasn't doing it then. He wasn't doing it then. So anyway, all right. On that note, great to see everybody. Glad that we could go from talking about the sellout of Ukraine to Tony Danza and my dog. This is why we love the morning show, because you never know where it's going to go.
It's true. And, it's true.
Yeah. Michelle, safe drive. Everybody else, safe drive if you're traveling. And we will see you all tomorrow right back here at 8 a.m. Eastern for another crazy day. Maybe we'll talk about some more weirdo celebrity sightings. Like I saw Carrot Top on the street once. That was my favorite New York City celebrity sighting because it was so random. And we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye, everyone.